So, hi everyone, today this video will be about a smart way to build and construct our type of objectives that we can have in whatever is short term or long term in order to get like a higher probability to get them done, to succeed, to achieve them. And so with that said, we have to understand that we're talking about getting the ability to reach a final outcome, a goal. So how we're gonna make a goal a bit more achievable. So we have to understand that a goal is made by a combination of actions that we have to do in order to reach our goal. So what are you gonna have to work? We have to make a goal that has to be something that we can achieve, and that's something that the ability to teach us. So which better, what's like the scale to measure if a goal is well structured, is well designed, in order so to understand if it's important and if it's a goal that is a one to establish, follow, and try to get. So what's clear? Smarts. We have to follow the way to build our goals. And what's the smart? Smart is something that we call as specific, measurable, adaptive, has to be as well something that we have to have to be reliable, and has to be timed. So these all are what we call as 5 characteristics that our goal objective has to get in order to can be considered a smart objective. And why we call this signal, why it's important? Because it respects what we say, that what we understand about human behavior. So you want an objective that has to be achievable. So, and but not just by being achievable, have to be something that it has a value. So by doing it, it's going to contribute for our purpose that has to be pre-established of doing a goal. Goal is just like establish sub goals to a end game that is having so good health, so having like probably being rich. These like hand games, but these hand games have what we call as small targets. It's like gamifying. It's why it's so important to take the concepts of the way that our games are made, because the way that our games are made is that one that kind of is like the knowledge that the scientist that works in order to work and build so a game in order to be something that make us get addicted. So in a game, they really understand the power of gamifying. So that's why it's so important and that's why something that that's what explains why the games that we play tends to be structured in a way that we have a journey of small objectives that are what they are clear, they have to be achievable because we have to believe that we can do it. That's why what's going to that's like the reason for why we're gonna get so triggered actions in order to do and get the objective. And obviously it has to be specific. I have to understand what I have to do in order to have motivation, because if I understand what I have to do, obviously it's going to have so higher motivation, because just by having knowledge of understanding what I need to do. And obviously having time is something that's really important, because and this is because this follows allow that's really important is allow that we can call as Parkinson law. And what it says, Parkinson law says that the time or the length that we take to do a action is something that is proportional from time that was given to a action. So is basically, if we establish time, we tend to do the action in order to fit that time. If we don't put any type of targets in terms of time, I want to do something, it tends so to we kind of get motivation, and so it gets spread the time span that is needed to reach so a outcome. That's why it's so important, and this is gonna so use probably we can use like a specific concept that is important to look for. That is understanding that probably is it's so useful to sometimes get a bit of stress that it gives having what they call as deadlines in terms of time in our work, because it makes us have more motivation, because we have to understand that we have to do till a specific data, so we cannot surpass it, and this so creates a stress, and stress is a type of way that makes our body perform a bit better. That's why it's so important in games, in football games, in any type of sports. They're stressed and they have a time to score more points than other one, whatever is the sport specific. They understand what they have to do. They have to score a goal. They have to get a touchdown. So they know what they have to do. Timeable, they have to do in specific time. Has to be something that is achievable, and that's why what they do, they kind of surround their day-to-day life by exercise and improves. They can improve so the way that they will perform, and this is why it's so important in order to have motivation to get our objectives. Having other important concepts that can like not seem to be related with their final outcome, but it's so important. Imagine that my objective is get rich. So to get rich, what I have to understand, I have to so, and I have to use the concept of gamify to so structure the way that I'm gonna reach that objective. So I have to reach small objectives. So in order to be rich, what is rich? Rich is like having a specific quantity. So in order to have like 1 million, I would say, like, I'll structure it in that way. You probably will have like a small objective that is getting 100, or probably even half of 100. So we have like we have like specific. It's like a chain. We have a chain that we hub, and this chain is what so comes close from the moment that I'm present now, and not the motivators, because by building in small targets that I have to achieve, it seems so that I'm doing progress, even if it's to look for the holistic process, which still like seeing that it falls and is still we have a lot of length and journey to run. But having these small targets, it's something that our brain perceives, is get feedbacks, and it works even better. Obviously get, so I want to get 1 million in I want to get 1 million, but the small target that has to follow the smart rule. So get for specific. Uh, I want to get 100k in 3-4 months. Specific, measurable. I can measure is getting that quantity. Other things have to be achievable. Now, it's what really important to understand my context. I have the tools, the measures to get so and understand that's reliable, that I'm gonna get so the objective is something that it's really true. Yeah, so that's what requires from us understanding our beliefs to understand, so in a way to reach this objective. We really so we can do a previous work to understand if something that's reliable that we can do, and so if the time that I've established that's a good thing, but you have to understand this doesn't create too much stress because it's not something that's reliable. So it has to fit these criteria to be a good objective to establish. You have to have like common sense to understand if I have like in a good position, and probably what will be something that will be reliable to get this 100k. Probably that someone that has a good profession, probably someone that has a good rent. But if we're gonna so to understand it's reliable, and that's so why it's important to establish objective, having this accomplished this specific metric that is reliable, because the evaluation that we have to do to understand if objective is reliable is going to have to understand so the position that right now, and is already something that works towards the solution of so establish what are going to do the action that I have to do to reach objective. What I want to say with that, when I say that I want to get 100k in specific month, so following all this type of metrics, what I'm evaluating now if it's reliable, this will so make me imply to work and understand who I am, understand what is the essence of getting so my objective. So to understand to get this money, I have to understand I have to be valuable for someone, and because it's valuable, it's by being valuable that there is something in exchange by producing value for other ones. But other thing, and just by defining specifically my objective, I understand that I have to get a profit. So I see that my problem is to understand if I have enough type of searches of revenue, and obviously understand as well the way that I spend. So see how this process of understanding this objective is reliable makes me work in a solution to so get objective that even if it's not the one that I want specifically as 100k, it goes toward the objective of enrichment. Because if I do a reflection about my earnings and payments, I understand that I'm a step closer to get more financial consciousness, and so working better in a way that I make and create so capital, accumulate capital. And so in by reliable is already something that makes me more prone in order to understand if what I know that is good, who I am, what's my position, that so it's reliable to create a, environment, and if I'm able to get so my final objective, uh, getting and reaching them. So smart, it's really important. Smart is a smart way, because smart is something that helps and make us have the ability to gamify to objective that can be called as end games. That's like getting rich. Now depends what's your perception of rich, getting healthy. Because example, healthy, I do it, how I gamify healthy. So I understand that I'm in a specific position. So I can say, I'd say healthy is having some biomarkers, having like perceptions. And so objectives, feeling the perception of not not having like the any type of pain in my tooth. I don't have like any type of pain in my bones. It's one specific objective. It's specific, is measurable. You can like have the perception if you are north, and probably to see if it's right or not, it's gonna so make your process of thinking, and you're gonna understand that bones is something that is has to work so in their health. Probably will require you to make a search. By search, you get more knowledge, and by getting knowledge, you understand if you have the enough tools to get this criteria that you have established. And so that's why it's so important the smart. Smart is not just so good for creating motivation to do the action. It's something that as well makes you work in their consciousness to understand if the tools that you have are useful to do the objective, and so makes you to achieve and to look for what in really makes you get so your objective. That's something that is intrinsically good. It goes toward the sense of having better, whether it is in the field of the health, whether it is in the field of the job or in a successful career. So with this video, I have to help you. It's something that you have to work. And so smart objectives as like sub type of objectives, mini objectives that are like like a game. It's like building a game that help us to reach in a end game. That's what we were and what we all everyone wants to be. So with that video, I hope you to help, and see you in the next one.